Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble while following us on Facebook, or find us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcasts can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for past episodes, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe or follow today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good day, everybody, wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. And that is a little bit of an understatement of what we are going to be talking about today. Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network's The Seance Podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Meckes. If this is your first time tuning in, please click like, subscribe, comment, and please don't forget to listen wherever you listen to your podcasts. Today, we're joined by Johnny Tesone.
Yep.
Tesone, a seasoned geologist with over 30 years of experience in innovation, technology, and geoscience. A Colorado native with a degree in geology from the University of Wyoming, Johnny has dedicated his life to uncovering Earth's hidden history and exploring groundbreaking evidence that points to repeated invasion events. Let's welcome to the seance for the first time, Johnny Tesone. Oh, man. I wish.
Thanks for appreciate being here.
Oh man, same here. An honor, definitely.
Thank you.
You got so much content out there. Normally, I throw up like a book or two, but I'm definitely going to show do a screen share of the website stuff like that for
great
people. And I will bring up your website here for those right off the bat. But so it. In all this research, what's one discovery that's really changed the way you see Earth and the universe?
That the geological features that I've seen around the world, starting in Wyoming, specifically large surface features, correlate to the recent James Webb telescope pictures from last fall that started coming out. Mm-hmm. So I kind of timed out on my first book release, and it blew open. I had already been finding things that no one had found, but this put the cap on it all for me. So that was the biggest reason I think I stopped it, and I was just so happy that I was able to correlate that. And for me, it was like, okay, so all the theory and all the talk and speculation, I was able to actually prove it geologically to the detail of this infinite life that not only is it on Earth, but I found it on Venus, I found it on Mars. So this system, what I'm talking about, originated Earth's carbon oxygen cycle, and brought the water. So that's the biggest revelation. At the very top of it, what I can tell you, that's the biggest, most magnificent, but there's all these channels of science and geology that filter down to me finding, handheld things and metals in the fields of Colorado, hitting something that looks like a cement piece of pile of water pipe that's out in the middle of nowhere, but that's part of the story that I found.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Wow. Now, when you compare the geological research from NASA's James Webb telescope data, what connections surprise you the most, and what do you have to tell us about?
I think the connections that surprised me the most were both from the Hubble and the James Webb telescope. I was able to gather correlations from both of those technologies and those time frames. Specifically in Hubble was the pillars of life, huge, magnificent photo that Hubble came out with. It's one of the most famous. that's one of my favorites. I was able to correlate with stuff all over.
Yeah.
And 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 also I think, and then James Webb Telescope opened up not just one area of the cosmos, but multiple areas of the cosmos that I would see form, exact form that I could find on Earth. And that's what I correlated in the book, and it repeats. So not only does it repeat in multiple places, but it also repeats on Earth because it's a fractal species that once it came, this is what it's designed for. Earth was exactly how it, what it needed. It was the perfect marriage of the technology, the water that it brought, and the heat and the element of the molten Earth back then, and how it created the moon. That's why they're finding, their Earth, the moon's got a solid metal core, right?
Yeah.
So all these things are starting to really bolster already what I've found. So the stuff is piling in, and like I said, I had an out of body experience. That's what started it all. I'd been in traditional corporate services and oil and gas and water resource development in the West, and did really well right out of college. Worked in the field, so I was always in geology. But it was the Wind River Range that in Wyoming that I just kept taking trips to. And one day, it wasn't a fishing trip anymore. It became a where am I from trip in the universe, because of the geology I started finding on these massive cliffs, and then in ensuing summer and fall of 2020, all these fossils I started finding across the entire range. So it was 15 sites later in Utah, Colorado, and Wyoming that I put together my research. So being in the geology corporate office, I always love going in the field, and that's where I cut my teeth. And then you go into the office and you learn all the computer systems and the drilling technologies. But this is the raw, hot, badass geology that people need now. And so
Yeah.
with my stuff, they're going to start seeing it, because I'm putting the dots together, right? I just happen to be in a place in the Wind River Range that is so close to Yellowstone that I came all the way back around, where Yellowstone is massively underestimated, the power and what I found and how it formed and what it created. So the thought process, and so the James Webb, back to your question, is I think that we are so connected to the cosmos, we have no idea. And my personal transformation journey through all this is that feeling like, man, we are so insignificant, but we're not.
Yeah.
Okay, we're so small, but we're not. We are so smart collectively, and our conscious. And I think there's a reason. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a reason I'm finding all this stuff, because it's there for people to find now. And the people that are open to it, like you and I, we're gonna understand it, because we're talking about it. You're educating people about it. I'm educating people about it. So that's the fascinating part of it. So I'm talking the species that developed all the cool technologies and led the path to where we are today, with new species I've identified and named, new geological events
Yeah.
that I've named. So it's a big topic, and I broke it into 9 chapters, the book, and the 9 chapters actually came from 9 symbols I found on Earth that no one's ever documented, never seen anywhere. Well, I said, here it is. I'm going to make this book 9 chapters. I named them because I had so much content from the Wind Rivers all the way to infinity, right? I had 9 chapters. I just was pouring into it. The science chapter, the planning chapter, why, the purpose, why the species. So I don't know if you've ever talked to geologists, but we're kind of crazy about where did stuff come from. And whether it's from there or from here, it's what carried it. Was it the river? Was it the ocean? Was it the wind? Was it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was it dinosaurs, or was it, how did it get, and why does it look like it does? So, traditionally, my old work was some Google Earth, but a lot of well log analysis on the electronic signatures of what a well looks like that gets drilled, and what do those trends look like over, square mileage of putting together what the subsurface looks like. Well, what I did is, like, through all my skills and what I love in the field is, well, I can use all my same talents in the microscope in my field, but I now have Google Earth. And I now have Google Earth, and it's like that's all I need. Not only can I find these hand fossils and these, but I can find these cool freaking rocks that cut stone that I found and I documented and I
It has like
tested.
it's like like the glass, the volcanic glass.
Yeah,
Cool.
but it's not. So what it is just part of the same.
Huh.
It's part of the same signature of beautiful things that I found that are so mysterious. But it just happens that I was the one that was. I collapsed the wave, right? I
Yeah.
was the observer now, and so
Yeah.
all this stuff is just pouring. And so when I talk about invasions, this ties into this third chapter of my book. And I say invasions, it's programmed and it's planned and it's massive and it's repetitive. So being up in the hills of Wyoming, I knew there was an event when I was in the oldest rock in these deep river canyons.
Yeah.
If I was finding stuff there, I knew it was old, right? It's just how we're wired. But what is fascinating is I started seeing not only Precambrian, there was events from the fossils I found and where I aged it, and what I've developed as far as understanding the mass extinctions and also the Precambrian explosion. This is the life that caused all this.
Wow.
So not only did I see it in the ancient Precambrian, but I saw the invasion species, the bombs on the surface. Okay, the surface of Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, and I could walk to them. So I could walk to them and analyze them. And then I started finding the burrows in Wyoming. I started analyzing the minerals. I started seeing fragments of the shell of the impactor that was carrying this. So I was able to see these plates and these bent rocks. I was able to walk to them and test them, and I found incredible, how do I want to say, unnatural limestones and dolomites that you usually see in ocean deposits. I found more iron and just more. I found a lot of carbon, but nitrogen, embedded water.
But you saw
So,
also like the surface vitrification of some of the rocks and stuff and minerals.
yeah, some of that, it was more on the scale of seeing how they landed
Yeah.
and how they produced and how they made lakes and how the dams changed when they landed. And I was able to, especially in Wyoming, I was able to find the landing foot. The landing foot. This was about a 200 by 200 specimen that I documented of actually when it hits and how it spring loads and creates water control system within itself. And then these dams. And this is repeats everywhere. I found this everywhere. And I can walk down the street or drive around, but I can see how these impacts create and how they live. So this is the Holocene. This is the recent bombardments of the things that we can see on Google Earth, the high resolution stuff I can go walk to, right? So that's the recent surface deformation that helps ties all the old to the recent of the event. And knowing that it came from so long ago and that it's still here is the obvious conclusion and plausibility that it's always been here. And all the food ever produced, including the dinosaurs, were never wasted. The ammonites disappeared with the dinosaurs, so there was cycles of extinctions always going on, right? So they're trying to categorize it into 75 to 95%. That's great. But there's so many that are below that have always occurred. So they're trying to, so my point is this is the species. This has been the species that was here before any of us. And it's a fractal, and it's a plasmatic where it comes in and out of our physical spectrum.
Yeah.
So as I could see it in the fossil, in the rock record, in the hard rock, I started tying it together with trips to the Great Salt Lake, trips to Winter Park, Colorado, trips up to Laramie, or trips back up to the Wind Rivers, and then more on Google Earth. I started seeing planes, and I started seeing things phasing in and out and duplicating and cloaking and twinning. I started seeing geology in the plasma, a crystal plasma that's at a separate frequency.
Yeah.
But it's so staggeringly beautiful. It's almost hard to appreciate the technology in it. So what I'm saying is Earth was made by an extraterrestrial organic rocket species. It brought the water. It brought our freshwater oceans. Over time, they created the salt, but also over time, these things had the oceans to be able to develop any life they needed to procreate. That's why all of a sudden, through the great unconformity, all of a sudden, where'd all that rock go? And then all of a sudden, life explodes, right? The Cambrian explosion. That life was already here. So it was the equilibrium of the species and the environment that didn't need to consume anymore. So it balanced out. Then the deposits showed up in the normal sedimentary geology that most of the world is used to. Yeah. So that's where the oil and gas and the people play. But I'm talking about pre that and understanding that world, and then the traditional cycles of traditional depositional cycles, marine and cyclotherms of the earth, and what we can see for oceans that migrated and change, and all the oil basins. You can study that part of it, but I'm just saying that's a continuous as the earth changed, the geology and the atmosphere pretty much is an integrated whole. I don't know how many dimensions there are, but I've found some staggeringly, beautiful places in the ocean that are miles of these beautiful crystals. Wow. I call it crystals of infinity. Yeah. I made some shorts on it, so I got 30 videos on YouTube now. But it's never going to stop. I got 3 more books lined up. I mean, I'm going to do one on Yellowstone. I'm going to do another one on some of these crop circles I found right down the road here that I think talk to a conscious level that. And it's almost like I'm my own experiment geologically, but almost like, well, why do I think like that? Or why do I find this stuff? Like, my brother is like, what is this stuff? And you can even show him pictures and stuff, but I'm telling you, there's, it's like until you take action on something and really dive in and study it, then it became a process. Then I was able to understand, and that's why the first book, Secrets of the Winds, is actually the Discovery Chronicles of Earth's Galactic Odyssey. It's how I wrote the manifesto. It's how I wrote the manifesto that brings it all together in regards to that. There's the homepage.
Yeah, I'll bring up the website for those who are listening. Definitely watch the show there on the on our YouTube channel. But yeah, you had so much stuff on here. I want to come on. I'm just gonna bring up the website. So yeah, Secrets of the Wind, and then it's in Japanese.
I got it in Chinese. It's going to be in Spanish. It's going to be probably pretty global in a year from now.
Yeah.
And so it's my reviews have been really great. But I got big plans for it because it's it's a transformative book, both science and it's almost like something that has to be posted, has to be
Yeah.
written.
Do
And
you, do you
I'm the guy that's writing it.
Heck yeah. Do you feel that we are on the precipice of another shift that's happening, whether basically a global collective cultural slash extraterrestrial interdimensional shift of us being introduced to?
100%. I think I'm in the portal. I think I'm in it. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think there's a collective. I think it's been shifting. I think it's going to continue to shift because there's a whole different level humans have to endure and change. I think physically to change. I mean, the acceleration I've seen in Google Earth over the last 15 years is not linear anymore. It's logarithmic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my point is that we're seeing a lot more. We're seeing a lot more shifts. We're feeling more energy shifts because there are. Okay, you feel it. A lot of collective feel it. The the 3D matrix. They talk about the veil thinning. I mean, it's broken for me. I'm out of that.
Yeah.
Right. So I've had to get my conscious mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this has put me in that forever, right? Put me in it forever where now it's like the business is like the 3D, all this other stuff is this fascinating world of writing science fiction series now, right? And all this cool things of going to the Galapagos where I've tied the Yellowstone pipe to, right? Going to Easter Island where I've tied my crystals in Greece to Easter Island heads in the geology. So I'm saying that I'm just at the forefront of this stuff, and this is just the start of it because it's when you have the hard evidence, you know.
Yeah.
It's when you have the hard evidence you can show. So that's part of it, you know. And take this 10 pound piece of hematite I found in Wyoming. But
Wow.
basically, part of the dam structures that I find, all of them have a uniformity of size rocks depending on the size. And then you can see how they're formed, all these locked together in the dam. So when these land, all these size stones and breccia, meaning they're different rocks from different periods of time and different constituents of chemistry. So the species, after they landed the big ship, then mechanically harnessed the earth to design the dams in the outer shell of when they bombarded after the initial invasion from the Precambrian on.
Huh.
So as it changed, so this is over 10 pounds. This thing's heavy, but you can see how engineered it is, right? You
Yeah.
can see how engineered it is. And what I'm talking is this is just one piece of the quadrillion pieces of puzzle that I've started to study. But as I started studying more dams, I could see the characteristics of the dams having the same sorted boulders or everywhere. It just became that epiphany, right? It's just been it's just been one epiphany after another, after
Yeah.
another, after another. And
I
you
keep getting
know,
them all the time. I mean, with the studies that
yes.
I'm doing too, it's like, and before we started recording, when I mentioned that, I've been working with, looking into and doing cross correlations with a lot of Zachariah Sitchin's work, but also going to the original creation story of the Sumerians and the Assyrians,
Mm-hmm.
of the Anunnaki and the Ajiji, which was
Mm-hmm.
an inferior race, and even though they don't talk much about it, it's like, wait, hold on a second, they were here a lot longer than we give them credit for, a lot longer.
Lot longer. Now they're talking what, 400,000 years?
400,000 is like the minimum. I think that's when that shift happened into creating the human race as the slave race, because the Ajiji pretty much got up and were like, no, we're not doing this anymore.
You know what? That's a fascinating aspect of me that I want to talk to you further about too. Is when the human species, but when was the reptilian takeover of the 3D, and when did that just was that 5,000 or was it longer ago? You know what I'm saying? When did everybody become capitalist and ego and everything went out? Like you said, when all
Yeah.
the records and everything went out the door, right? All that ancient, great, all that beautiful stuff.
Yeah. That's why the Middle East has always been in all this terrible havoc and war, because
Hmm.
that's where all the information's been hiding. It might be in other places. I mean, a lot of those tablets, hundreds of thousands of tablets from ancient Sumeria do still exist. It's just, where's the majority of them? They're still in the Middle East, hiding.
It's funny you mentioned the Middle East. It's one of my favorite places on Google Earth.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite just because not only the resolution, just because of the sand and the details and the contrast that I
Yeah.
found.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I found a Stargate on Google Earth.
I was about ready to say Stargate.
I found it. Yeah, I found
Really?
it. And when I say Stargate, it was an exact replica of our solar system.
Whoa.
It's an exact replica with the sun in the middle and all the orbits perfect, all of the planets, and then it has the Milky Way, it has a Kuiper belt, and then there's a portal, and then on Google Earth it leads like some obscure path and way way far away, physically giving me a quantum snapshot of how distant this is. Like
Yeah.
this is not just down the road type of stuff. These things come everywhere, and it's just an amazing planet we live on. There's so much to learn.
Yeah.
It's a right. I'm reinvigorated with my science. Right, geology at one time provided great 3D materialistic provision, and things like that, and learning and things. But now it's like, well, the stuff. What's the value of the things we're learning that I'm learning now? You can't put a value on the knowledge,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Because you're creating things and finding things that no one ever has. I hope it's going to lead into some groundbreaking space travel technology with better rocket technology, maybe better, bone replacement technology with some of the, dude, I found bones. I got skeletons. I got a glossary of species. I don't
Yeah.
know if you understand this, but it's like I was the one who got the download, and I've just been now I'm trying to get it out there to share it because it's not only a great story, but it tells a lot about you know this earth that
Yeah.
you won't believe, but you will because you'll see how much data I have because it's
Yeah.
it's overwhelming.
Look at all the stuff that, that has been found and just completely either destroyed or again
Yeah,
hidden, like, some of the secrets of the giants, the
right.
Nephilim or it's like, whoa, hold on. It's like, every time the Smithsonian would get their hand on it or take it, nobody'd ever see it again. And
I've heard those stories.
yeah, and
I've heard those.
now it's like, oh, we don't know where it is. It's it didn't exist. It's, I don't know. It's
And that's why I think I have such a different compelling portal is because I'm just an independent guy with huge discoveries that I don't think the Smithsonian even knows. I don't think there's a lot of people that know this. There's probably bits and pieces of this, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say, but no one's put together this like that I've ever seen. And so
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying is you need more. The archaeologists need to become more geologists. Okay, so first off, because it's everything's older than 5,000 years.
Yeah.
All of it's older. However they want to try to date it, it doesn't matter. It's all old and ancient because you got to understand all the desert and everything was underwater,
Yeah.
right? Got to understand. And there were cycles of floods and waters of oceans moving and changing.
Yeah.
So it's hard to talk about one flood. It's hard to talk about, this and that. But the earth has been covered and was covered for water for a long time. And this is the aquarium that they brought because water, they both utilize the water for their own growth and their expansion and their because it's what they have, but you know it's also hydrogen and oxygen is the rocket fuel, right?
Yeah.
So it's all encompassing technology that they've developed, because they've already proved that there's an ocean of water 140 times bigger than our ocean here up in space. And I think it's super compacted. That's what I'm saying is the geology. I found the super compaction, um, not the ratio, but the super compaction evidence
Mm.
of the pipe and how small it is and how incredibly massive it's become.
It's amazing too. Within the last, probably almost 30 years. Look at 95 when they uncovered Göbekli Tepe in Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still uncovering it. The place is a massive city, but it wasn't destroyed. It was almost as though it was deliberately covered up because everything is intact, in perfect condition.
Right. And remember when those were originally formed, there could have been the giants living there, or something living there, and then the ocean changed and the earth changed again, because we're talking 26,000 years that are polarity changes, right?
Yeah.
So when we're talking 400,000, a million years, we got a lot of dynamics in the earth changing. We got a lot of solar. And remember, we got the constant bombardments of the species that's coming. And I say constant because once you understand how much evidence I found, you'll understand that, man, this has been going on a long time.
What are your thoughts on this 3-eye atlas?
Oh my gosh, I think it's cool, and I think it's the original rocket that I found.
Yeah.
I think it's
Now they're saying, Avi Loeb is now. I'm seeing some real recent stuff from Avi Loeb that he's like. Now this is Avi's is a really mainstream guy. He's now
right.
walking away from the mainstream and going, okay, all right, I'm a little shaken up. This is not natural. This is definitely artificial.
Definitely mechanical. I think it's a message. It's not a warning. So my feeling is it's a message. It's to get people to wake up, and I think it's a conscious conduit that's being maybe beamed or trying to tell us to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's there to say you better get ready because we're gonna, out of the earth. Earth is protected. The species here doesn't want anything to happen with Earth. Okay, we're a part of it. We're protected. This is the Mother Earth. I mean, it is a living organism.
Yeah.
That is protecting itself, and it's not going to let man, and it's not going to let anything else harm it, because it has to last forever. It's designed to last forever. So therefore, it will, and it's designed to last. So I think it's fascinating. I think the way that it seems like it's intentionally going behind Mars and between this, and hiding back there in this trajectory, and that it seems like it combusts from different parts and moves and can change. And I think that's amazing. But like I said, I found nickel in my stuff. I found a super alloy nickel in my stuff. So metal and water is out there, and
Yeah.
I'm not surprised it's a ship. I got some great pictures of how my ships look like, because that's the pictures of them.
Wow.
But I'm just saying, I don't know for sure if it's the same one, or Earth has experienced different types of UFOs coming in. I think a lot of that will have to be determined. But what I can say is the geological evidence that I've seen of things, plasma sparking, condensed matter physics, in the record and how things fire. I've seen those plasmas and I've seen this stuff fire off where the seeing UFOs is not unbelievable anymore. It's all believable because we see the geology and the stuff spark because it's made to spark, but it's also made to disappear and to fly fast and change, and that's this technology. But Earth is an amazing hub. It's an amazing hub full of life, and humans are trying to figure out ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. And I've through the years, I've always asked, that, is there a timeline? Is there something out there? Is the clock ticking to where we are at this precipice where collectively as a human race are going to have to be forced by the governments around the world to accept? So all this predictive programming that's been going on in Hollywood and movies and news and all of this stuff, it's leading. I feel it's leading up to us being acceptant of whenever the next, I wouldn't say invasion, but like knock knock, we open up the door. Here it is.
I think that's Three Eye Alice in a way. I mean, there's only people like you and I that track it, that see it. We're not even a sliver of the population that even knows or cares.
Yeah, yeah.
So is it a reckoning or an awakening, right? So the fact of it is though the Christians, the Hindus, the Buddhists, the Hindus are talking about this is the end of their 4.3 million year cycle,
Yeah.
right? So there's no denying that there's a feeling of awareness or consciousness or episodics, an episode coming. I think that's always been a feeling for people, but I think even more so, I agree with you. I think it feels like there's something coming. And is there a time frame on that? I think it's going to be a continuous process because I don't think mankind's ready to get, go without their computers or their cell phones for 3 days.
Yeah.
In the darkness. And so I'm not a doom and gloomer guy either. I'm more of a positive and optimistic, and that there will be enough consciousness, awareness, and a level that I think it's already going on. So I think the timing is now. I think there's people in it, and the time is for everybody. The timing is personal, right? The timing is the people that don't want to believe in anything.
Yeah.
Right? They got to believe in something. They can't believe in fear anymore. If they want to believe in God, if they want to believe in something almighty, then they got to believe in something that they're so free within themselves that they're not fearful at all anymore, that they can live without the fear of something drastic coming. And so I think the timing is, because in what I see, there's in the geological record, there's no time. Time is not an equation because it's almost, you can't measure it.
Yeah.
All you can measure is what it looks like now and what it could have looked like back then based on something else that kind of looks like that back then on something else. So it's this whole string of events that I feel if we could all, be in nature more, right? Walk on the beach more, be in the sun more. I think, and maybe you have studied this and know this about, just like our all of our great technology and records and cultures that have been buried or displaced or forgotten, just like our DNA, right? Our DNA. And it's just like, they talk about this. They talk about these people. They didn't have quantum computing back then. They just lived in the mountains, right? They lived in the mountains and they ate food and they meditated and they walked the earth and bare feet, and they just lived off the land, and they're able to feel this frequency that is always there, and that connection to humans is coming back. I believe
Yeah.
that's coming back, and that's going to help extend us into a higher life, into a better life that I truly believe is why we're here.
Almost makes you think too, is like some of the technologies that are out there that we're using but misusing it, the
Oh,
governments, and the 5G. I've been talking to some phone repair people, and they're like, there's no chips, and there's no 5G chips in phones. They're like, I
right,
open up phones every day, and they're like, I've never seen a 5G chip. All it is the 5G is out there. It's all
right,
out there, creating all of this distortion, this
right,
distortion waves. And,
right.
it's getting everything muddled and muttered, and we're basically, it gets us off kilter. But then at the same time, too, as far as a visual effect is, look how much light pollution we have. When's the
Mm,
last time we've actually saw the entire Milky Way?
right, right,
Not that. I think, what was it, 90? Think back
right.
in the 90s,
Oh,
the
the
power
light
went out in
pollution.
LA, and that was the very first time people saw the Milky Way, and people started calling 911 because they thought the sky
Right?
was exploding.
War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
War of the
Man.
Worlds. No,
Yep.
exactly. There's going to be a continuous discussion. I mean, I think the next 5 years, the timing is exactly the time for us to have this conversation today,
Hmm.
because we're gonna feel it, and we're gonna understand it better, because we're understanding that it's an inevitable change, and we feel it in our bones, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the whole great thing about it.
The amplitude, I'm definitely feeling the frequency and the amplitude getting amped up. It's getting smaller and shorter waves as far as the sine wave. I feel it. It's like I'm trying to
Sure.
get away from it, but while I'm trying to calm myself down, because it's like I've now been more anxious and more just on the edge than I ever been. But that's
I
because the
understand.
frequency is changing.
Your vibration is increasing,
Yeah.
right? So that's amping it, and then your energy is changing.
Hmm.
So it's all related, right? It's Tesla. It's energy, frequency and vibration. You
Yep.
can put yourself in any one of those, because you can physically feel that. You can physically understand your own rhythm and how you're beating, and when you're starting to activate, that ancient DNA, it's just the miracles start happening,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they start happening. That's the great thing, I think, for the next 5 years, is to really have the great dialogue with curious people like you and I, because there's not enough of us.
No.
I
It's not.
don't, and so I just really am honored to be here,
Same here.
and to
Same here.
talk to you about this, because it's so important, and it's not misunderstood. It's just not, there's just not enough data,
Yeah.
right?
There's not enough data, and there's not enough. It's like you said, there's not enough dialogue going on about this. I mean, you got Ancient Aliens on the History Channel, which is now probably in its 20th season right now. It's been around
Unbelievable.
for 15,
Unbelievable.
18 plus 20, almost 20 years.
But yeah, think about it. I mean, it's like, think about it. It's like, so I knew I was a geometry whiz in ninth grade. I could prove stuff. I didn't become a math wizard or anything like that. It
Yeah.
fit into my, it fit into my world. It fit into a piece of my tool set that was so magnificently important to this day, was
Yeah.
geometry. But it was like, there's reasons you are who you are. There's reasons you feel like you do, and there's reasons you find things, and how you live your life, right? And you know and the lessons, the harder the lessons, the better it's going to be. It's
Yeah.
just the facts. That if you don't let it get to you, it's that piece of it. That's the transformative strength you have to learn, I think, too.
Yeah. So before we wrap up the show, like I said too, is like I'm definitely open for recording more episodes, getting to more specific topics or
Right.
specific subject matter and stuff like that. Especially as this 3i Atlas progresses and gets closer and closer. If there's anything
Perfect.
open on your schedule, let me know. And
Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. I was looking for somebody like you who wants to track this with me because I have my own what from my book. I already have my blueprints and my schematics of what my UFOs look like in
oh
the
wow.
earth. So what I can do is I can kind of go through. So look at some of this cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
Right. I found 5 of these in the world and I have to save them. But I found this technology. Here's what some of the alloy looks like in some of the rockets. But
Seeing where
I believe the plausibility of what I found, I want to be able to correlate that live with you an event to show you and the audience, like we're doing here. This is why I think the rocket looks like this, because I can have all different types of rocket imagery. There's 9 different ones that I found from the same species. So they're all
Yeah.
separate crystals. So the fact of it is I'm just as intrigued as you are about 3i Atlas and some of the things I can show you, maybe I can do a PowerPoint. I can share some of my
Yeah. Yeah.
pages
Definitely.
with you. I could show some excerpts with you guys and show you some of that. I think that'd be pretty effective.
Yeah, I'm looking at because I normally let me see if I can share the screen. It's not as fun as it normally looks, but yeah, there's something on YouTube right now that's been streaming for the
Blind
last
date at Mars.
month or so. But
Right.
yeah, um it's got some fly. Yeah, the fly. This is the flyby for Mars, and then normally it will switch to the actual trajectory. It'll show our solar. There we go. It'll show our solar system
Oh,
and show
so
our
cool.
trajectory right here up on the top right.
Right.
But yeah, this is gonna be a crazy. Where's the popcorn?
It's every day. It's every day, and it's every
Right?
day almost. I
Yeah.
mean, it's super fascinating, and it's like, that's what I'm saying. That's like the shift is now. That's the shift. It wouldn't be here unless we were already shifting, right?
Yeah.
And so there's I'm trying to take the theory and the guessing out of people that think the earth is flat, right? And like, I don't need to argue with those people. I just need to show the smart, curious people what the rock and what earth is telling me, right? So I'm trying to be this ambassador in this microscope and macroscope of a portal like geovortex. I named it because it was a geovortex for me. I was seeing everything and it was like spinning and felt like it was off the ground and it was like my brand. I had to put everything in there. So that's the great thing about it is it's so personal. I'm just building everything and continuing.
Yeah. Wow. So before we go, for those who are watching, we'll see it scrolling. But for those who are listening, where can people find you and what they can expect when they go to the website?
Yeah, so geovortex.net is the website address. My contact information is there. You can leave information. You can sign up for the newsletter. You can shop on the library. So I got a full library section. You can. I'm offering a deal on the membership for lifetime membership. I'm going to provide all the books that I write, all the articles, $150 one-time lifetime membership. You'll get access to all the merch, and I'll even throw in a hoodie, for that first. So the cool crystals I found in the Mediterranean Sea, I launched my own rocket wear line. So I have shirts, and I think amazing, the colors that I found and how I was able to do that. And it's like people love it, you know. It's like I want to get some for my kids now, and it's like okay. So I'm never short of ideas like that, but I want people to go on and just cruise it. Check me out, check it out. The colors and some of my fossils. I have some of my better fossils and some of my stuff, but you can kind of start getting a handle on what it's about. But it's new science. You can look at my reviews.
Yeah.
It's going to be mainstream because there's too much of it to ignore.
Yeah, there's a lot to absorb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just little bites at a time and stuff like that. But
And I'll help you organize how you want to produce that. When you want to roll it out, because like I said, this is a good opportunity, great opportunity for me, and I want it to work for your audience and you to make this thing really great.
yeah, I actually might push this episode here a lot sooner than originally expected, because this wasn't going to broadcast till next year. I'm like, no. For what we've talked about right now, yeah, this has got to go within the next week or two. So
awesome, man! Just let me know when that's going to go.
I heard December, sometime in December is when they're something else is supposed to be happening in December. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it'll be sooner than that.
Okay.
I figure. Yeah, if something does happen, people ain't gonna be able to see it. So,
no.
Especially if we lose the internet.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to go back to the old dial tone, the fax machine. Remember
right?
that?
Oh man.
Or go back to reading the stars, how to navigate around the world. We have to look at the celestial maps, right?
Yep. I'd rather do that for hours. It keeps you occupied.
Oh, that's so cool. I think that's so cool. I'm trying to think of the app I got on my phone. You probably know which one it is. I'll tell you next time, but you can hold it up and tells you all the stars and the cosmos.
Yeah, I got the iPhone version, the Skywalk.
That's it.
And yeah, it's freaking awesome. I'm gonna use that because
wonderful.
Yeah, because my lecture is going to be on Royal Caribbean and metaphysical lecture, and it's like I'm bringing my other camera with me because there's not going to be any light pollution. So I figured that's going to be the perfect place to take shots of the sky.
Well, I can't wait to follow you and your work more, and it's just great to collaborate.
Definitely, and I'll keep you posted as soon as I get the date of when I am going to push this. So cool.
Sounds wonderful.
Johnny, namaste, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a good one.
You do the same, brother.
All right, brother.
Thank you, everybody, for watching Conscious Radio Network's The Seance. And until next time, we'll see you then.